Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about some luggage rack alternatives that you may not know about for your KTM 390 Adventure. And if you're looking to get a KTM 390 Adventure, these are some options that you may give some consideration to. And that is a pannier rack and a tail rack. So stick around and I will talk about where I got these and we'll do the installation. Since there were no instructions, we'll see how it goes, but it shouldn't be that difficult. When I bought this bike, was it 2 months ago, I was looking for some luggage alternatives, some pannier racks and a top rack. And at the time there wasn't a lot out for the bike, so I started doing quite a bit of research. And since this bike had been available in India for about a year before it made it to the US market, there were some companies there that had already put some stuff together. So this tail rack here that should bolt right up, and the pannier rack that I got here, and I also picked up a master cylinder, rear master cylinder cover. So we may do an install on that. But I found these from Zana International in India, and all of this combined together was $214 shipped to me, which is about half of the cost of what you're going to find on other pannier racks, and definitely on the rear tail rack, top rack. So it was worth it to give it a try. I will show you what the welds look like on the pannier rack so you get an idea. I think I was comparing it to the rack I have on my R1200 GS, and the welds look pretty good. There was one caveat on this rack, and that is it's not meant for aluminum panniers, which I can understand. You don't want to put a lot of weight on this. The way it mounts up to the bike, it's probably not going to be the best to support a lot of weight. I think if you have soft panniers that have the straps that go over the seats and over the rack, that would probably be the best way to go, and this will just keep it from swinging in or sagging, which is the reason why I got it as well. And given the price, if you compare it to a lot of other manufacturers that put this stuff together, it is really hard to beat. And when I show you the welds, you'll see that quality seems to be all right. It'll take a lot of long-term riding and testing and abuse to see how well it holds up under those conditions, but I'm pretty confident this will be a good solution. Alright, I just wanted to show what the welds look like on the hoop here on the pannier to give you an idea of what we have, and then this one as well. They seem pretty clean. I mean, it's only going to take time of using it to see if they will hold up. So let me flip this, and you can see here, and then this mounting flange here. The powder coating seems to be pretty good, and again, that's really going to take time to find out if it's going to hold up. Right, now the pannier rack, we'll get that installed. Again, I got hardware here with a number of bolts and nuts and maybe a spacer or two, and this bracket, which I think goes under the fender. So I'll provide instructions if this is something that you want to do as well, and then show you what it looks like once it's on there. Alright, where this bracket, where these bolts are here, and this is part of the taillight assembly. The pannier bracket goes here, and then there's some spacers that'll lower it under this. There's the hardware needed for this bracket install. There's these spacers. The smaller end, if you can see that, that's going to go up towards the bike. And then I was wrong. This is the only sockets that you'll need, which is a 10mm, and this replaces the bolts that came out, which is right here. So I'm going to set that up in there, and then I'll set it in loosely. I am going to put Loctite on these bolts. And that's that lower bracket, the angles that it needs to go in, and the side flips up. I'll show you how. So up here it's tucked up towards the top of the bike, and all I need to do is tighten that up. So everything is fitting really well once I figured out which direction that bracket went in. I'll tighten this up and then I'll move over to the other side. Right, this lower end of the mount goes to the back side of the exhaust, and having trouble getting enough bolt through. Not because it's not there, it's just this is tight. I'm gonna give this a squeeze. Try to get that threaded. Find that. Just enough to get the thread started. Get my wrench out of the way. There we go. Alright, we got that started. And now it's, what was it, 12, 13. Tighten this. This side, the pin that holds the passenger peg in needs to come out because this is going to fit here, and there is a bolt supplied. Ah, there we go. Okay. And we'll put the rubber O-ring back up there. Has that washer. With that washer, I'm guessing this spacer, the rubber spacer goes there. We'll put that on. And you know what? I think the washer goes on this side. And bolt that up. Okay. And then I just have the upper bolt to put in to kind of hold it in place. And that should get this side on. Alright, this side is mounted. It didn't match up as flush as I would have liked, but it did tighten up and come together just fine. It was a little challenging on the foot peg to figure out where this goes, but it goes on the bottom. Alright, the last piece to go in is going to be this crossbar. And it's going to have to go back here. And there's these reflectors that are in the way, which I don't really like them anyway, so I'm either going to have to cut the bracket to cut these off here, or I'm going to take this off and see if behind the license plate I can just remove them, or if this bracket is necessary to hold the license plate in place. Okay, I got the cross member put in here by taking these huge ass reflectors off. This thing's actually pretty heavy. I may just drill some holes in my license plate to mount them up to these screws here, and I don't see why not to do that and just eliminate this. I'm not really that concerned about having these big reflectors on the back. I try not to ride at night anyway. But yeah, so the rack is on, and I will walk around the bike with it on and let you take a look at it. It was a pretty simple installation. I just had a few bracket things I had to figure out which direction that they went, but as far as luggage racks go, you know, it has a little bit of flex to it, just I think because of the mounts being underneath here, and I think also because the mounts are underneath, that's why they don't want aluminum panniers put on here. And it doesn't say on their website what the load rating would be, but I would recommend if you're going to put a rack like this on, at least this one, and I don't know what the other KTM racks are going to be like, but use luggage that has straps that go over the top so that it's weight bearing on top of the seat or on top of the rack here. Or if you have something you could loop up on top of this rack to load it up on the top, that would probably be the best thing to do. Okay, I've got the rear rack installed, and that is really solid. And then I've got the pannier rack installed, and it has a little bit of flex to it, but overall it'll work perfectly for what I want it for. It wasn't terribly expensive, like I mentioned before. It was like $200 for everything. I want to make a quick note. If you decide to buy something from Zana, I went through and tried to do a purchase on their website, and it didn't accept any international credit cards. So what ended up happening is I got an email from them the next day or the day after saying if I was still interested in the order, I could make the payment through PayPal. Initially I was a little concerned about doing that. I did it anyway. Everything worked out fine. I think it took about 3 weeks to get the all of this stuff in, and been really happy with it. So if you go through the process, maybe email them first, tell them what it is exactly that you're looking for, and they can just send you a PayPal invoice to your email address and do it that way instead of trying to make the purchase straight through their website. So I hope you found this useful, and if you want to do some travel, want to add some luggage, this is a really easy way to do it. These would be really great for some 15-20 liter bags. I think there's some up to 25 liters, some different things that you could do, and I think it'd be fantastic for adding luggage for travel. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. It's still fall. There's a few more good days of riding left. So get out there and do it, and I will see you out. In the bottom, and someone's walking through the gravel, so I got to figure out who it is while I record.